One of the things TV geeks wait for every year during the State of the Union address, every year, whoever the president is, going back as far as I can remember, the president will say, the state of our union is, and then they'll fill in the blank. Well, Sarah Sanders spoiled that yesterday. Sarah Sanders explained to us yesterday that the state of our union is incredible. The president could say something else tonight, but for now, at least, the state of the union is incredible. But the White House has also told us that we could expect the unexpected in the speech tonight. So let's turn to Chris Wallace now, the host of Fox News Sunday, to find out what might be unexpected. Chris, I wonder what they're trying to tell us there.
Well, if anything, and we know Donald Trump is a showman, saying it's unexpected is going to get more people to tune in. I think he got a pretty big audience last year on February 28th. You talk, and I know there's been a lot of conversation so far in this program about a bipartisan tone, but it's going to take a lot more than tone to get agreements, particularly on something like immigration. It's going to take bipartisan details. Now, some would argue that the president has already made a huge concession when he said that he's willing to accept 1.8 million people, about double the number of people who are already signed up in the Dreamer program. People also who are eligible who haven't signed up, 1.8 million, and give them a pathway to citizenship. That has created real heartburn on the part of a lot of the conservative immigration hardliners. But he's demanding a lot in return for that, according to the Democrats at least, too much. And so whether they're going to be able to get to a bipartisan deal or not, my guess is there's going to have to be some give on both sides.
But they've been talking about immigration reform for a long time, actually getting to a place where they might be close enough to get something accomplished. Do you see that they're close enough to where they might be able to do that? Not yet. Right?
Not on the president's deal. I think the president has made a huge concession by saying that he's willing to give a pathway to citizenship. Remember, no matter how sympathetic the Dreamers are, the fact is they entered this country illegally. You could say, well, it wasn't them, it was their parents, whatever. But there are a lot of people who still consider this amnesty. So that's a big concession on his part, and he's going to want something in return. My guess is the wall isn't a holdup because, to a certain degree, back when they had the budget shutdown, the government shutdown, Schumer basically gave that away and said we'd be willing to give. The Democrats would be willing to give $20 billion or whatever it costs to build the wall. I think a bigger issue is the real limits on chain migration, family reunification, whatever you want to call it, and also the visa lottery. I mean, is there a deal to be made? Yeah, there's been a deal to be made for a couple of years now. The question is to get the two sides together around the details of a specific deal.
Another thing they've been teasing us with is eye-opening statements on North Korea. I have no idea how to interpret that. Do you?
No, I can't imagine in terms of hard rhetoric or threats to the Kim regime it could get any tougher. Once you've called somebody Little Rocket Man, I'm not sure how much further you can go. In addition to which, I can't imagine the president really wants to inflame that issue a week before the Olympics start. That doesn't make much sense to me. On the other hand, boy, if there's been any kind of a diplomatic outreach, that would be quite a surprise. We certainly have had no sign of that. That's one of those things you're just going to have to wait and see.
The president can declassify something just by telling us all if he wants to. So when they say eye-opening statement or eye-opening details from North Korea, you wonder if he's about to tell us something that nobody knows.
Again, I mean, we can sit here and speculate about it all the time. I would be a little surprised if, I heard John Roberts suggest that that might be the headline of the speech. You would think that the president, unless there's some good news, you would think the president would want the headline of the speech to be, first of all, to take a much-deserved victory lap on the economy, which really has been going great guns. The Dow Jones today, to the contrary notwithstanding, you do have record highs. You've got strong GDP growth. You've got record low unemployment figures. So he can take a victory lap on what he's accomplished in 2017 and then talk about continuing it with immigration reform and infrastructure and trying to get everybody together and give kind of a platform for Republicans to run on in the 2018 midterms. I'd be a little surprised if he would want North Korea to be the headline coming out of this, but I don't know.
I don't know either. Have you ever, you've seen a few of these things. We've been watching these speeches together for a long time. Do you remember a time when a speech, just a State of the Union speech, was able to unify or have any great force on the populace one way or another?
No. I mean, I hate
either.
to say this because to a certain degree it's saying, you know, don't tune in tonight, but we always overhype these things. It's always very exciting beforehand, and afterwards we all go, well, that was interesting. I think it's going to be great theater. Donald Trump always is good theater. I fully expect him to make a solid speech. He always does. But in terms of changing the mood in Washington or creating new impetus for deals on infrastructure or immigration or health care or any of the other big issues facing the nation and the world, it's just not what happens.
Right. You're right, as you always are. Chris Wallace, host of Fox News Sunday, working on a Tuesday. How's that feel?
Let me just say, I don't want to make a habit of it.
I don't blame you. Mrs. Soup needs company.
I don't see you on Saturdays or Sundays.
No,
this is my Sunday. This is my weekend.
I do my best to avoid those days, but sometimes they creep up on you. Chris, it's great to see you. Thank you.